This video is about the mom walked into the campground and a rich stranger returned her lost scarf. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over Lakewood Campground, where families and friends gathered for a weekend of relaxation and connection with nature. The air was fragrant with pine and the aroma of grilled burgers, mingling with laughter erupting from various campsites. Maya Thompson, a single mother in her late 30s, stood at the edge of her tent, her heart a mix of excitement and trepidation as she surveyed the campground. She had planned this weekend getaway for her 12-year-old daughter, Lily, as a much-needed escape from the demands of city life and the weight of her recent divorce. "Mom, look, can we go to the lake?" Lily's voice was bright, a clear contrast to the weight that often pressed down on Maya. She turned, her daughter's enthusiasm infectious, and felt a flicker of warmth in her chest. "All right, but let us make sure to grab our swimsuits first," Maya replied, smiling as she ruffled Lily's hair affectionately. There was a sense of freedom here, a breath of fresh air that was hard to come by in their cramped apartment back home. As they made their way toward the lake, Maya noticed a commotion at a nearby campsite. A group of teenagers was setting up their tents, laughter punctuating the air. Among them stood a tall man, his silhouette striking against the backdrop of towering pines. There was an air of confidence about him, and as he turned, their eyes met for a fleeting moment. He was handsome in dark hair tousled by the wind, sharp jawline, and a smile that seemed warm but enigmatic. Maya felt a sudden jolt of awareness, an unexpected flutter that she quickly dismissed. Focused Maya. "You're here for Lily, she reminded herself, shaking her head slyly as they continued toward the water. The lake shimmered like 1,000 diamonds as the sun began its descent. Maya and Lily spread out their towels, and soon they were splashing in the water, laughter ringing out as they kicked up waves. For a moment, all of Maya's worries faded, and there was only the joy of being with her daughter. After an hour of swimming, they made their way back to the shore, both of them breathless and exhilarated. Maya noticed her favorite scarf, a soft, knitted piece in deep purple, lying crumpled on the grass near their towels. She wrapped it around her neck, feeling its familiar comfort. "Can we roast marshmallows tonight?" Lily asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Absolutely. Let us find some firewood before it gets dark," Maya replied, glancing toward the wooded area nearby. As they ventured into the trees, Maya was lost in thought, contemplating the challenges of being a single parent. She had always dreamed of a family filled with love and laughter, but life had taken unexpected turns. She felt the pang of loneliness at times, a whisper of longing for companionship that she often silenced. Picking up sticks she barely noticed as the rich stranger approached, carrying a lost scarf with a casual grace. His name was Ethan, as he would later introduce himself, and he was a businessman taking a break from the bustling city life. "Excuse me, I believe this belongs to you," he said, his voice warm and inviting, pulling Maya from her reverie. She turned to face him, her heart racing as she took in his relaxed demeanor, an effortless charm that seemed to envelop him. "Oh, thank you," Maya exclaimed, her cheeks flushing as she took the scarf from him. "I didn't even realize I had dropped it." "I've seen you around. You have a lovely daughter," he remarked, nodding slightly toward Lily, who was busy gathering more sticks. "Thanks, she asked me everything," Maya replied, her voice softening. "I wanted to give her a nice weekend away, just the two of us." Ethan's expression shifted, a flicker of understanding crossing his face. "That's admirable. It can be easy to do it alone." Maya felt a small lump form in her throat, the vulnerability of her situation surfacing. "It has its challenges, but we make it work," she said, forcing a smile as she tucked the scarf back into her bag. "Do you need help with anything? Firewood, more supplies," he offered, a hint of playful insistence in his tone. She hesitated, caught off guard by the unexpected kindness. "Well, I could use some extra hands," she admitted, feeling a warmth spread through her. Why not? "All right, let us go gather some firewood," he said, his eyes sparkling with a spirited energy. They walked side by side into the trees, the air thick with the scent of pine and adventure. As they collected sticks, Maya couldn't help but notice the ease with which Ethan moved, his laughter bright and infectious. There was an undeniable chemistry brewing, a magnetic pull that both excited and frightened her. She caught herself stealing glances at him, the way his muscles flexed as he reached for branches made her heart race. "So, what do you do when you're not rescuing lost scarves?" Maya quipped, her tone light but layered with curiosity. "I run a tech company in the city. It's stressful, but I love what I do. How about you? He replied, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. I am a freelance graphic designer, she said, feeling a mix of pride and nervousness. It gives me the flexibility I need with Lily's schedule, but it can be lonely at times. Ethan nodded, his expression thoughtful. I can relate to that. It is easier to get lost in work when you don't have someone to come home to. Their eyes lingered on each other, the moment stretching, heavy with unspoken words and shared experiences. Maya felt the weight of his gaze, a quiet understanding passing between them. Let us head back before they start without us, Maya suggested, breaking the tension with a light laugh. Right, can let the marshmallows burn, he replied, matching her laughter. As they returned to the campsite, Maya's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and fear. She hadn't expected to feel this way, not here, not now. Yet there was something about Ethan that felt different, genuine, intriguing, and undeniably charming. Lily was busy chatting with other kids, her laughter mixing with the crackling of the fire. Ethan settled in beside Maya, their knees almost brushing as they sat on the log. A comfortable warmth enveloped them, but Maya couldn't shake off the flickering doubt that crept into her mind. Was this just a fleeting moment? A spark in a weekend filled with distractions? As the night deepened and stars twinkled overhead, the small campfire illuminated Ethan's face, casting shadows that danced across his features. He turned to Maya, his expression earnest. I know this is a bit forward, but would you like to grab a coffee tomorrow? Just us? Maya's heart raced at the invitation, excitement flooding her veins, but the practical side of her consciousness tugged at her, reminding her of her responsibilities, her hesitations. I don't know, Ethan. I am just here for the weekend. Just think of it as a break from reality, he urged, his eyes gleaming with hope. Just two people getting to know each other, no strings attached. No strings attached. The phrase echoed in her mind. Could she allow herself that? Before she could answer, Lily bounded over, her face flushed with joy. Mom, can we roast marshmallows now? She chirped, pulling Maya from the moment. Absolutely, Maya said, breaking into a smile as she watched her daughter dance with excitement, feeling the weight of uncertainty shift, if only slightly. Maybe the weekend held more than just time away. Perhaps it was the start of something new, something she had longed for in her heart. As she watched Lily and Ethan banter playfully over the fire, she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her, feeling that perhaps this encounter was just the beginning. The crackling fire painted warm shadows on Maya's face as she watched Lily and Ethan, their laughter blending with the night sounds surrounding the campsite. She felt a rush of contentment mixed with an undercurrent of anxiety. What am I doing here? Lily, blissfully unaware of the inner turmoil swelling within her mother, turned to Ethan, marshmallow stick in hand. So, Ethan, do you go camping often? She asked, her bright eyes reflecting the flickering flames. Ethan smiled, his gaze shifting toward Maya before answering. Not as much as I'd like. The city can be suffocating sometimes. You know, I come here to remember what it feels like to breathe. Maya's heart skipped at his words. There was an honesty to him that was refreshing, yet it also stirred a mix of emotions within her. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know my world, she thought, feeling the weight of her reality press against the edges of this fleeting moment. Mom is always working, Lily chimed in, playfully sticking out her tongue. She hardly ever takes breaks. Maybe you can convince her to go on more adventures. Maya shot her daughter an incredulous look, half amused, half horrified at her daughter's boldness. Lily, she laughed, her cheeks warming. I love adventures, but someone has to keep things running smoothly. Or maybe you just need a little push? Ethan added, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Sometimes it is good to shake things up a bit. Maya met his gaze, a flicker at something unspoken passing between them. Is that what I need? The thought trembled on the edge of her consciousness. She could feel that familiar tug of longing. But was this really the right time to explore it? As they started roasting marshmallows, the sticky sweetness of the toasted treats mingled with the air, but the tension between Maya and Ethan lingered like the smoke curling up toward the starlit sky. Maya, do you like hiking? Ethan asked after a moment, his voice low and inviting, drawing her attention away from the flickering fire. I do, actually. There is something about being in nature that makes the chaos quiet down, she replied, her voice softening. Though I don't get out as much as I'd like. Maybe I can show you a trail tomorrow, he suggested, a hopeful note coloring his tone. It is beautiful, especially at sunrise, just us, if you were up for it. Maya felt her heart race at the thought, the prospect of spending more time with him igniting a hesitant excitement. "I don't know, Ethan. I don't want to impose on your plans," she said, her brow furrowing slightly. Ethan waved a hand, his expression earnest. "Not at all. I do love the company, and it sounds like you deserve a break," he encouraged, his gaze piercing but gentle. Their eyes locked, and for a moment the world around them faded into an ethereal backdrop. Maya felt her pulse quicken, a mixture of apprehension and thrill swelling within her. What was it about this man? Lily's excited yelp broke the moment, her sticky hands triumphantly holding 2 perfectly roasted marshmallows. "Mom, look," she squealed, her joy infectious. Maya chuckled, her heart swelling as she took in her daughter's delight. "That's impressive, kiddo," she said, her worries melting away with the warmth of their shared laughter. But as the firelight flickered, a shadow crept into Maya's heart, the fear of opening herself up to something new. What if it doesn't work out? The evening rolled on with stories and laughter, but Maya felt herself drifting in and out of the moment. Ethan's presence was magnetic, and each time their knees brushed against each other, a spark ignited, sending a thrill through her. She found herself stealing glances at him, his laughter bright and genuine, his focus on Lily intoxicating. Yet with every laugh shared, doubt whispered in her ear. Was this just a fantasy? When the fire finally dimmed to glowing embers, Ethan glanced at Maya. "Would you like to join me for a walk? We can leave our marshmallows to cool down for a bit," he suggested, his tone casual, but there was a pulse of tension beneath his calm demeanor. Maya hesitated. "I don't want to leave Lily alone," she replied, glancing at her daughter who was busy chatting with a group of kids. "Lily will be fine," Ethan assured, his voice low and persuasive. "I'll make sure she is safe. Just a quick stroll to the lake." Maya bit her lip, looking back at her daughter. Lily shot her a thumbs up, clearly enjoying herself. Maya looked back at Ethan, feeling a blend of yearning and fear. "Okay, just a quick one." As they walked toward the lake, the night air wrapped around them, cool and refreshing. The moonlight shimmered on the water's surface, casting a silvery glow that seemed to enhance the magic of the moment. "This place is beautiful," Maya remarked softly, her heart racing as they strolled side by side. Ethan nodded, his presence beside her both comforting and electrifying. "I love it here. It is a perfect escape, away from the pressures of work and the city," he said, glancing at her, his expression earnest. "And it is even better with someone special, like tonight." Maya's breath caught at his words. Special. The wood hung in the air, rich with possibilities, yet wrapped in uncertainty. "You really think so?" she asked, her heart pounding. "I do." Ethan stopped walking, turning slightly to face her, the moonlight highlighting the contours of his face. "It is not every day you meet someone who makes you want to escape the chaos, right?" Maya felt a rush of warmth flood her cheeks as she met his gaze. "Well, I suppose not," she said softly, her reluctance fading just a little. Ethan stepped closer, the air thick with tension. "I know we just met, but there is something about you, Maya, something that draws me in." His voice was low, intense, and the sincerity behind his words made her heart flutter in her chest. Maya swallowed hard, feeling a knot of emotions twist inside her. What if this is too good to be true? Ethan, I am not sure I have Lily to think about, she stammered, her defenses creeping back up. "I respect that, but I also believe life is too short to play it too safe," he said, his eyes searching hers, an earnest plea hidden within. "What if we allowed ourselves to just enjoy this moment?" For a brief second, Maya felt the weight of her worries lift, replaced by a heady rush of possibility. She had fought so hard to protect her heart, yet here was Ethan, offering a glimpse of what could be. But just as she was about to respond, a distant shout broke the moment. "Mom, can you come back? We need more marshmallows." Lily called, her voice carrying over the water. Maya felt her heart sink slightly, the reality of her responsibilities crashing back in. I should get back," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, a mixture of regret and duty flooding her. Ethan stepped back slightly, a flicker of disappointment flashing across his features. "Of course," he replied, his tone steady but softer now, as if the moment had slipped from his grasp. As they made their way back to the campsite, Maya felt an ache within her, the conflict between desire and responsibility pulling her in opposing directions. She wanted to explore whatever this connection with Ethan was, but the weight of her role as a mother loomed large. When they reached the fire, Lily greeted them with a beaming smile, marshmallows smeared across her cheeks. "Did you find any cool treasure?" she asked, bouncing on her toes. Maya couldn't help but chuckle, the innocence in her daughter's excitement a balm for her frazzled heart. You're just some good company, she replied, glancing at Ethan, who smiled back warmly. As they settled back around the fire, Maya felt the tension linger in the air, a sweet ache she couldn't quite shake. She remembered the way Ethan had looked at her, the weight of what might have been woven into his gaze. Yet as the night drew to a close, she realized that tomorrow would bring new choices, new chances. And perhaps, just perhaps, she could allow herself a little more light in her life, a sliver of hope amid the weight of her responsibilities. With that thought, Maya looked toward the glowing embers, her heart whispering promises of what could be. And as she glanced at Ethan, the unspoken connection between them held the promise of something more if only she could find the courage to embrace it. Maya woke to the gentle rustling of leaves, the soft symphony of birds greeting the dawn. She stretched within the confines of her sleeping bag, her mind a whirlpool of thoughts, mostly centered on the events of the night before. Asterisk, what had she been thinking? Asterisk, the moment on the lake shore with Ethan came rushing back, that electric tension hanging in the air like fog. She felt a flutter in her chest at the memory of his warm gaze, the way he had drawn her in with such sincere words. "Mom, are you awake?" Lily's voice pierced through the morning haze, bright and cheerful, instantly lifting Maya's spirits. "Give me a minute." Maya called back, pushing herself up and rubbing the sleep from her eyes. Tent walls seemed to close in on her, and she took a deep breath, inhaling the crisp morning air. Today held possibilities, a mixture of excitement and apprehension coursing through her. Asterisk, what if last night was just a fluke? Asterisk, can we go to the lake today? Lily's voice broke through her thoughts again, more persistent this time. Maya unzipped the tent, the cool air hitting her face. "Absolutely, sweetheart. Just give me a moment to get ready," she replied, her heart lifting at her daughter's enthusiasm. As Maya dressed, her mind wandered back to thoughts of Ethan. Had he meant what he said? Asterisk, what could that mean for her and Lily? Asterisk, she shook her head, trying to dispel the cloud of confusion. "Look, Mom, I found a cool seashell." Lily squealed, rushing in moments later, her hair wild and damp from the morning dew. "That is awesome, babe. Let us see it." Maya replied, her smile genuine. In that moment, her heart swelled with love for her daughter, soothing the inner turmoil. After a quick breakfast of granola bars and orange juice, they both decided to head to the lake. Maya grabbed her favorite scarf, the one Ethan had returned, and draped it around her neck, its familiar softness a comfort. "Can we go swimming first?" Lily asked, practically bouncing on her feet. "Of course, just for a little while," Maya replied, taking her daughter's hand as they made their way to the shimmering water. The lake sparkled under the sun, and Maya felt a sense of freedom wash over her as they splashed in the cool water. Laughter echoed, and for a while, the worries of the world faded into the background. After their swim, they settled on the shore, the warmth of the sun enveloping them like a cozy blanket. Maya's thoughts drifted back to Ethan. Asterisk, what was he doing this morning? Would he think of her? Asterisk, "Mom, I can't wait to roast marshmallows again tonight," Lily exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. Maya chuckled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Me too, sweetheart." As they played in the sand, Maya's mind flickered with what ifs and maybes. She spotted Ethan across the campground, his broad shoulders relaxed, engaged in conversation with a few campers. There was a magnetic pull toward him that she couldn't quite ignore. "Mom, can I go see if they need help with their tent?" Lily asked, pointing enthusiastically. "Sure, honey, but be careful, okay? I'll be right here," Maya replied, watching as her daughter darted off, feeling a swell of pride. Lily's innocence and exuberance brought a smile to Maya's face, but it was short-lived as she felt the weight of her own uncertainty settle in again. A few moments later, Ethan approached, his confident stride catching her eye. "Good morning, Maya," he greeted, his voice warm, making her heart flutter. "Good morning, Ethan," she managed, her pulse quickening at the sight of him. "Looks like you and Lily are having fun," he said, glancing toward where Lily was interacting with the other children. "She is enjoying every bit of it. I wanted this weekend to be special for her," Maya replied, her voice tinged with affection. Ethan nodded, a soft smile curving his lips. "You're really doing a great job. She is an incredible kid." The compliment warmed Maya's heart as she could feel a blush creeping up her cheeks. "Thank you. It is not always easy, but moments like this make it worth it." Ethan's gaze lingered on her, the air charged with an undeniable chemistry. "I was thinking, would you still be interested in that hike later?" he asked, his tone hopeful yet casual. Maya hesitated, her heart racing with indecision. Asterisk, what would Lily think? Asterisk, I don't want to leave Lily alone for too long, she said, her voice faltering slightly. She'll be fine. We can take a short hike, and I promise to have you back before she even knows you gone, Ethan assured her, his expression earnest. Maya bit her lip, uncertainty swirling within her. It felt like a risk, stepping away for a while, but there was something invigorating about the idea. Okay, just for a bit, she finally relented, feeling a rush of thrill mixed with trepidation. Great, let us get going then, Ethan replied, his eyes lighting up with excitement. As they set off, Maya felt a flutter of anxiety mixed with exhilaration. The trail was winding and shaded by tall trees, their leaves whispering in the breeze. They walked side by side, the sound of their footsteps blending with the soft murmur of nature around them. Ethan turned to her, a playful glint in his eye. So, what is the craziest thing you've ever done, other than camping with a 12-year-old, of course? Maya laughed, the sound bright and genuine. I guess I'd say moving to the city alone after college. It felt like a leap of faith, she responded, her heart racing at the memory. Sounds brave, I admired that, he replied, his tone sincere. It is easy to get comfortable in the familiar and forget to take risks. His words resonated with her, striking a chord deep within. Sometimes I feel like I've settled into safety too much, Maya admitted, her voice softening as they walked. It is tough letting go of control when you have someone else to think about. I get that, he said, his gaze steady and understanding. But every now and then, it is important to embrace those moments of uncertainty. They can lead to something beautiful. Maya felt her heart swell, the way he articulated her own fears in a way that felt comforting rather than daunting. You have a way of making things sound so simple, she replied, a hint of flirtation in her voice. Ethan chuckled, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Maybe it's just my charm, he teased, but there was a deeper sincerity behind his words. As they continued along the trail, Maya felt the edges of her worries begin to blur. She found herself stealing glances at Ethan, the way the sunlight played off his features, illuminating the warmth of his smile. Suddenly he stopped, turning to face her fully. I really enjoy spending time with you, Maya, more than I expected, he admitted, his tone serious. Maya's heart thudded in her chest. I enjoy it too, she confessed, the weight of those words hanging in the air, heavy with unspoken promises. Just then, a distant voice called out, Maya, Lily is looking for you. It cut through the moment like a knife, and Maya felt her heart plunge. Looks like I am needed back, she said, trying to keep her voice steady, even as disappointment washed over her. Ethan nodded, his expression a mix of understanding and regret. Of course, I didn't mean to hold you up. It is not your fault. I just as she paused, struggling for the right words. I just wish we had more time. Me too, he replied, his voice low, a hint of longing threading through his words. As they walked back, Maya felt the weight of their unfinished conversation heavy on her shoulders. She wanted to explore this connection, but the reality of her responsibilities tugged at her heart. When they reached the campsite, Lily rushed toward her, devoid of the carefree spirit from earlier. Mom, why did you leave? I was worried. Maya felt a pang of guilt. I am sorry, sweetie. I just went for a short hike with Ethan, she explained, kneeling down to her daughter's level. Could I come next time? Lily asked, her eyes wide with curiosity and a hint of indignation. Of course, I should have asked you, Maya replied, a warm smile creeping onto her face. Ethan stood back, watching the exchange, a subtle smile playing on his lips. You two are quite the team, he remarked. Maya felt a warmth in her chest at his words, a flicker of hope igniting again. We try our best, she said, glancing at him, feeling a connection that was still palpable despite the interruption. As they settled back around the fire, Maya couldn't shake the tension that hung in the air. The interplay of her responsibilities as a mother and the budding attraction to Ethan created a storm of emotions within her. The warmth of the fire provided a cozy refuge from the tumult of her thoughts. Maya settled beside Lily, watching as her daughter engaged with the other kids, vibrant energy emanating from her every laugh. The crackling of the fire created a comforting backdrop to the evening. Ethan joined them, settling on the other side of Maya, his presence both reassuring and electric. He glanced at Lily, who was eagerly discussing a marshmallow roasting strategy with her new friends. She is really in her element, he said, his voice low and warm, almost as if he were sharing a secret. She is, Maya replied, feeling a swell of pride. I love seeing her so happy. It is moments like this that remind me why I wanted this getaway. Ethan nodded, his gaze lingering on Maya, a hint of something deeper reflecting in his eyes. You are a great mom, Maya. It is clear how much she means to you. His honesty sent a wave of warmth through her, wrapping around her heart like a comforting embrace. Thank you, she said, her voice softening. It has been a tough year. I just want to make sure she has experiences that help her grow. Sounds like you're redoing it right, he replied, a reassuring smile spreading across his face. In that moment, the weight of her responsibilities felt a little lighter. As the fire flickered, the night enveloped them in a peaceful quiet, but Maya couldn't help but notice the way Ethan's gaze settled on her. It sent a rush of warmth through her, an intoxicating blend of confidence and uncertainty. Asterisk, what is this? Asterisk. Lily, would you like to help me roast the next marshmallow? Ethan called out, breaking the tension, and Lily nearly jumped up, excitement bubbling over. Can I, Mom? She asked, her eyes wide with eagerness. Of course. Just be careful near the fire, Maya replied, watching as Lily bounded over to Ethan, a grin plastered across her face. Ethan leaned in closer to Maya, this subtle shift in proximity igniting a spark. She has a joy, he remarked casually, but there was a simmering intensity beneath his words. She really is, Maya agreed, her heart fluttering as she sensed the warmth radiating from him. I try my best to create a fun environment for her. And you're doing it beautifully, he said, his smile widening as he watched Lily attempt to roast her marshmallow, giggling as it caught fire. Maya chuckled at Lily's antics, but a nagging thought crept back in. Asterisk, what if I am just setting myself up for disappointment? Asterisk. With the night deepening, the stars began to twinkle above like scattered diamonds, illuminating the campground with a magical glow. Maya leaned back slightly, letting the warmth of the fire soothe her nerves, but the undercurrent of attraction toward Ethan was undeniable. As the marshmallows turned gooey and brown, Lily turned back to Maya, her face smeared with melted sugar. Mom, this is the best camping trip ever, she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with joy. Maya's heart swelled. I am glad you think so, kiddo. It's nice to have a break, isn't it? Yeah, can we do this again next week? Lily asked, her enthusiasm infectious. Maya's laughter rang out, light and free. Next week might be a stretch, but we can definitely plan another adventure soon. Ethan watched their exchange with a soft smile, the warmth in his gaze deepening. You two make quite the team. I'd love to join you on your next adventure, if you do like, he said, his voice teasingly casual, but the promise behind it sent butterflies fluttering in Maya's stomach. Really? Lily brightened, her eyes wide with excitement. That would be awesome, right, Mom? Maya's heart raced at the thought, the idea of Ethan becoming a part of their little world. But her practical side emerged, wrestling with the wild desire that stirred within her. Let us see how it goes, she replied diplomatically, her gaze flickering to Ethan. Fair enough, he said, his tone light, but a hint of disappointment flickered in his eyes. Lily, oblivious to the tension, turned back to the fire, expertly rolling her marshmallow on the stick. Can you tell me a story, Mom? She asked, looking over her shoulder expectantly. What kind of story? Maya asked, her heart warming at the request. An adventure story, like how you used to tell me about the princess who fought dragons. Maya felt herself chuckle at the memory. Alright, but I'll need your help to make it epic. You can be my co-author. Lily's face lit up, and as they began crafting a fantastical tale filled with dragons, princesses, and heroic quests, Maya felt a sense of ease wash over her, the worries momentarily fading into the background. Ethan listened intently, his eyes sparkling with appreciation as he watched the bond between mother and daughter. You both have a gift for storytelling. I am just glad to be a part of it, he interjected, his gaze warm and inviting. Thank you. Lily chirped, her cheeks flushed with happiness. As the evening wore on, the laughter and stories continued to flow, but the undercurrents of unspoken feelings thickened the air around Maya and Ethan. The chemistry was palpable, and Maya found herself constantly drawn to him, her heart racing at every shared glance and lingering touch. Yet when Lily finally yawned, signaling the end of their campfire revelry, Maya felt a pang of reluctance. She wanted to explore the connection she felt with Ethan, but the reality of her responsibilities and Lily's needs came rushing back and, Alright, time for bed, kiddo, Maya said, placing a gentle hand on Lily's shoulder. Can we stay up a little longer? Lily protested, her eyes drooping but still filled with a hint of fight. No, tomorrow's a big day. Remember, we have to be well rested for more adventures. Maya replied cheerfully, though her heart ached slightly at the thought of the day ending. As they prepared to settle into the tent, Ethan lingered, his presence a comforting shadow. I really enjoyed tonight, he said, taking a step closer to Maya, his expression earnest. Me too, she replied softly, her heart racing. It was magical. Can I ask you something? He ventured, his voice slow and inviting. Of course, Maya said, her throat suddenly dry, anticipation hanging thick in the air. Tonight was special for me. I feel like there is something between us, and I do like to explore that, just us, away from the chaos. His gaze bore into hers, genuine and sincere. Maida's heart raced at his words, uncertainty flooding her. Asterisk, what if it is just the thrill of the moment? Asterisk, Ethan, I am not sure, I have a lot to think about, she stammered, biting her lip, uncertainty creeping back in. I'd understand, just know that I am here, whenever you are ready, he said, the warmth in his voice soothing yet tinged with disappointment. Thank you, she replied, feeling a flicker of hope amid her doubts. I appreciate that. As Ethan finally turned to leave, Mai felt an ache settle deep within her. The connection between them felt so vibrant, yet the fear of what it might mean for her future loomed large. Good night, Maya, he called over his shoulder, and as she whispered back, Good night, Ethan, she watched him retreat into the shadows, her heart a mix of longing and uncertainty. Once inside the tent, Maya curled up beside Lily, wrapping her arms around her daughter, feeling the warmth emanating from her little body. But as she lay there, staring at the canvas ceiling, her thoughts drifted back to Ethan. Asterisk, what could have been? Asterisk. Lily stirred slightly, murmuring in her sleep, and Maya brushed a strand of hair from her forehead, the weight of her day pressing down on her. Asterisk, was it time to consider taking a leap of faith? Asterisk. Her heart whispered promises of what could be, but the shadows of reality lingered just outside her reach. As sleep finally began to claim her, the flicker of hope against her fears became a gentle lullaby, one that urged her to embrace the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Tomorrow would bring clarity, right? Tomorrow would answer the questions she had buried deep within. As Maya drifted off, the last thought lingering in her mind was the possibility of a new beginning, the thrill of adventure, the warmth of connection, and the soft promise of love just waiting to be discovered. In the heart of Lakewood Campground, beneath a sky full of stars, anything felt possible.